So people are saying that digital transformation is accelerating. What kind of new opportunities this is bringing to the telco service providers?
Yeah, thanks Daniel for inviting me for this discussion. Yes, digital transformation is accelerating, but before we discuss that why is it accelerating and what are the opportunities, we need to understand the total addressable market size for enterprise. As our analysis and market research, $2 trillion to $3 trillion in 2027 is the global digital enterprise market size will be expanding.
That's huge market.
Yes, and then with 10.2 CAGR, the compound annual growth rate in 27. So you can imagine what are the potential for the enterprise services. And when we talk about enterprise services, all about the mission critical enterprise services, including for the verticals, for enterprise, even for SMEs. So considering this digital transformation in digital age, we need to suggest, not even suggest, I can say that for service provider need to tap this market. So they have to lead from the front, and for leading in the front, they have to see that how they can capitalize, how they can leverage their existing underlay networks, underlay simple words like IP networks, and then how they can use it as a new revenue growth engine for them.
How? Exactly what they are supposed to do to tap this huge market.
Yes, for tapping this huge market, they have to, number one, for sure, modernize their IP networks. And when we talk about modernizing for IP network, they have to become like a digital network service provider for them. So for that one, they have to tap some opportunities like for campus networks. They have to upgrade from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7. That can assures them for 30 gigabit per second speed for their customers, and that's what enterprise need, especially for SMEs, because as I mentioned before, that SMEs are, the more enterprise than SMEs, so they have to go from bottom all the way towards up. So bottom up approach, because SMEs don't have the potential to manage their IT resources.
Yeah, they are more desperate.
More desperate, more desperate help from service providers, and they have no, resources from capital resources to ask for big cloud provider giants to help them for services, because they charge a lot of money. So why not they go for service providers where they already have the connectivity, and then use that connectivity to bundle with the enterprise services, especially for moving towards cloud, one single hop to multi-cloud rather than siloed cloud access. So coming back to service provider, intelligent cloud network synergy, that's one opportunity, and they can assure them by upgrading their campus network from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7. That's a new innovation where they can assure 30 gigabit per second. They have to enhance their access bandwidth, overall bandwidth, when we talk about from 10 gig to 50 gig to the site, even 100 gig in the future, 400 gig in the metro, and all the way 800 gig in the IP core for IP interconnections. So these are the potential. And when we talk about SD-WAN, is no more SD-WAN, this more become enhanced SD-WAN, when they leverage internet as a quick win, but still need to modernize their underlying networks to assure for the longevity of their service and business. So as you asked me that what opportunities, I think is incremental opportunities. They have the capability to sign multi-trillion dollar contractual values with enterprise, from SMEs, from medium enterprises, from pure enterprise, and all the way to verticals who actually looking at smart automations in their network.
Yeah, from my experience working with telco service provider, especially those serving the enterprise side, I do agree with what you mentioned, that yes, now it is the time for telcos to expand their presence, not just doing the wide area network connectivity, but also to provide managed LAN kind of offerings, mainly for two reasons. First, right now we see massive upgrade of the local area network infrastructure, from almost purely wireline to now half wireline and wireless. And now with Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7, it will be completely wireless with 30 gigabit per second, very high speed. I think this upgrade is very difficult for the IT teams or especially for SME who don't even have any IT team anyway. For them to manage this kind of upgrade is very difficult and very challenging. Second, in the past, this kind of LAN service will need a lot of site visit. Otherwise, you won't be able to fix the wiring issues. But now, because everything is wireless, so we can save a lot of labor cost introduced because of those site visits. So now everything can be managed remotely in a centralized location, and then you no longer need to send people for site visit. It's good for the customer as well, right? So suddenly you have a wireless network, high performance, connecting everything, and it never breaks because there is no wire to break anyway.
So when you mention about that no site visit and this can help to reduce the OPEX cost, so you mean you want to leverage network as a service now?
Yeah.
That's as a service model, right?
As a service, and also AI ops as a service, using AI to replace the technician cost.
No, I also agree, and I do certainly looking forward at how we can leverage AI capabilities, because we are talking about AI from long, right, like last 10-15 years, but I didn't see anything real meat for the AI. So that's the time where we can leverage network as a service with a mix of AI. So AI ops, we can manage the remote networking that you mentioned about the managed LAN and campus network. We troubleshoot remotely from one cloud. So AI ops will be a next step for service providers to leverage their capabilities.
So I got a customer saying that if we can help them to reduce the site visit cost for managed LAN with AI, with maybe even ChatGPT kind of stuff, then I think it will be a very good business for the telcos. Traditionally telcos mainly cover the wide area network part. But now with this kind of a new model as a what they call a digital network MSP, this is very different from the traditional MSP model. They can significantly reduce the cost and the number of site visits, which will also cause a lot of disruption to the network.
So when you're talking about the digital service provider or digital managed service, so are you expecting that, as my understanding, I think we all agree on that, we should be a digital network service provider, right? Because they want to leverage their underlying network and then bundle with X number of services.
In some cases, I think one customer say they can upsell their SME customer on top of the private line or lease line kind of service to provide also the managed LAN, even the managed security kind of offerings. They can increase the what they call average revenue per offer by almost 100%.
Yeah, because I also have this analysis in my research findings in my part of the job that cloud providers are very strong, but the still lacking part is the infrastructure control. So they don't have the infrastructure experience. They are very good in digital services. But on the other side, telcos, the communication service providers or the service providers, they already are very strong in the connectivity. They know where is the network, how the network behave, how the network work, how we can bring the latencies out of the network, how we can assure throughput. And they do have the digital service department as well. So it's the only thing that how they can enhance their digital service offerings, especially for B2B, and covering starting from the SMEs where is not much requirements, much stringent requirements, and then grow their expectations from bottom all the way towards the top.
I think you raised a very important difference between the network MSP and the cloud MSP. Yeah, because for the cloud MSP, there is not much you can do as a telco because it belongs to the Amazon Web Service kind of people. But for the network MSP, if you can do it in a digital approach, because telco, they own the physical wiring in a WAN, they also own the technology and know-how of how to manage wireless local area network. I think it's a perfect match. It's a very good niche market that telcos can grow, especially starting with SME. But in the future, I would say maybe also for larger enterprise accounts.
Yes, I think that's a way forward, and this we are expecting even in Mobile World Congress this year, that how service providers and the vendors can sit together. I mean, from my side as an industry analyst, they can find some better way for this year or next, because then we are moving towards metaverse, where the digital reality or the extended virtual reality will be the fact, right? Yeah. So how we can tap that market, how we can tap the industry 4.0. So is not only with the services, is not with the service offerings or managed services, it should be with the network.